Hello, it is I, your boy Gomi, and we're back. We're back with some more UFC, and we're looking at UFC Fight Night Vegas 86 as we're going back to everyone's favorite, the Apex. God, I'm so done with the Apex. I am so done with the Apex, but oh well, regardless. Apex, we're getting some fights. It's some nice time to spend some time with your boys on the weekend and watch some fights. Though I will be honest, the fights last week were rather dreadful. But wherever the case is, let's get into it and hope we get some better matchups this time. On paper, not looking so hot, but I just have some faith. I have some faith in this one, and I really like the main event. So, first and foremost, we're going to have Daniel Marcos taking up against Orichi Lung. Orichi Lung. I've heard his name pronounced three different ways, and I rang Orichi Lung. I'm pretty sure. Okay, wherever the case is, we're gonna have the undefeated Daniel Marcos, a very solid striker overall. Got some good power, really good combinations, really good kicks. Take on Orichi Lung, who's rather basic in everything he does, to be perfectly honest with you. Nothing really jumps out or stands out when it comes to Orichi Lung, but he is a okay fighter. He has some okay fights, but at the end of the day, I just think this is going to be a beatdown for Marcos, but I'm not 100% sold on it, just because a lot of these up-and-coming prospects have just been overhyped, it seems like. I'm not going to say Daniel Marcos is that case, but look at Azat Maksum from last week, and I'm not running to the hills to put money on the undefeated fighter. And speaking of last week and how kind of hyped up prospects, we're gonna then have Fernie Garcia taking on Hyder Emil. This is gonna be Fernie Garcia stepping in. He is moving up in weight, short notice. Hyder Emil, this is the third opponent for him because his last two opponents pulled out, and Fernie Garcia, much like Charles Johnson before him, is on a 3-fight losing streak. I'm surprised he didn't get cut against Nakamura. I said after that fight he was gonna get cut. Guess I'm a liar. But yeah, Hyder Emil, very fun fighter from what I've seen on his regional tape. He is a very fun fighter to watch, and this should be a good fight. But I ultimately do think Fernie Garcia is going to lose. But I'm not super sold because Azat Maksum was a far better prospect than Hyder Emil. And Charles Johnson is someone I would put on a similar level of Fernie Garcia, a little bit better. But it could go the same way. It could go the same way as last week. So I'm a little bit hesitant. But tentatively, I'm going with Hyder Emil, and I'm going to be taking him by decision, actually. He is a finishing machine, but I feel like getting into this UFC level, he might struggle to get a finish. I don't know. This is a awful fight, possibly, or a really amazing fight. Zach Pauga versus Bogdan Guskov. Zach Pauga loves to slow things to a crawl. He loves to clinch, he loves to take it down, and he loves to just not finish fights. I think he has one fight that went that didn't go a distance in his entire career, if I believe so. Let me fact check myself. 2. He knocked one person out, and then he was knocked out once across all of his fights. So yes, this fight either it's going to go distance or it's going to not go distance, because Bogdan, a very scary individual, he has went the distance once in his entire career across 17 fights. Wow. So Bogdan, he's a wild maniac. He is swinging for the bleachers, but he gasses out in the first round. So it's going to be either a round 1 knockout for Bogdan, or it's going to be a decision for Zach Pauga. Max Payne Griffin taking on Jeremiah Wells. Kind of similar. Max Payne Griffin, he has a lot of power to him. He's a pretty solid fighter overall. Jeremiah Wells, though, I'd say it definitely has the power. Not definitely, but he has the power advantage. That power advantage is definitely something he could use to his what's the word? I don't want to say advantage, but it's something he could definitely use. It's a tool he could use. There we go. There's the terminology. I just think Max Payne Griffin's going to be a little bit more slicker on the feet, and I think he's going to be able to piece up Wells. I'm going to be leaning towards Griffin for a decision. Devin Clark versus Marcin Prachnio. This is an awful fight. Marcin Prachnio, he is known for kicking William Knight and just continuously kicking him and 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 never changing it up. Devin Clark also beat William Knight. Devin Clark is a very good grappler overall, and he is definitely someone I could see kind of win minutes and take it to the distance. Marcin Prachnio, he could use those kicks, and maybe he could catch Devin Clark in on an entry, but I'm going to be leaning towards Devin Clark for this one. Nothing specific for how he wins, by the way. Luma Lukbunmi versus Bruna Brazil. I don't know about this one. Luma is the favorite, and she's definitely bigger. I mean, not bigger in terms of height. Bruna Brazil has the height and reach advantage, but just Luma just looks bigger for the strawweight division. Bruna Brazil, I feel, is going to be able to piece her apart from distance, but if it gets into the grappling realm, I'm going to be going with Luma. This is a hard one. Tentatively, I'll go with Luma by decision, but that's not an easy... Oh, yep, Luma. I've seen a lot of people are just all in on Luma. That's a trap. Okay. Bolaji Oki is not going to be fighting Timothy Kumamba. He is going to be fighting Damir Hadzovic. All right, Damir, he's a veteran, not veteran, but he's been in the UFC far longer. He has more experience than Oki, but Oki is a very exciting debutante. He's got some good power, and he is also a fun fighter to watch. I'm going to be leaning towards Oki, but again, it's a UFC debutante, a somewhat hyped up prospect going up against this guy who's been there for a bit. It's just that short notice and then Damir is just very susceptible to strikes on the feet. He's not have good defense in my opinion. So I'm gonna go with Oki tentatively. Trevin Giles, he's gonna be taking on Carlos Prats. Trevin Giles is a test if you really belong in the UFC, and if you pass that test, you usually go far, do pretty decent. Some people, what the heck? That's not what I clicked on. Some people who, okay. What? All right, I guess we'll do this the hard way. But yes, Trevin Giles. Some people who pass the Trevin Giles test would be the older of the Bonfim brothers and the champion Dricus du Plessis. Those are some people who pass. Michael Morales as well too. So it's a test to see how far you're going to go and how you handle Trevin Giles. I personally... I'm not high on him. I'm not high on Trevin Giles. I think he's rather chinny. And Carlos Prats, he has some good power to him. He's on a really good knockout streak. I'm going to tentatively lean towards Prats getting a knockout. I believe he's on a 6-fight knockout streak. So that's what I'm going to be leaning to for this fight. And then we're going to get to the main card. Rodolfo Vieira versus Armen Petrosyan. This is the textbook striker versus grappler matchup. Armen Petrosyan is a pretty solid striker, and if he keeps this on the feet and he keeps that distance, he's more likely going to win. Rodolfo Vieira, if he gets it down to the ground, I've seen Armen Petrosyan, he looks lost. He looks absolutely lost, and like he doesn't know what to do if the fight gets to the ground. The Borralho fight, that's an example. Hassan fight, that's an example. Even RoboCop when he got him to the ground. I just don't like Armen Petrosyan on the feet, and I like Rodolfo Vieira on the ground. I'm going to be leaning towards the grappler, and I'm going to say this will be a submission win for Rodolfo Vieira. Oh, buddy, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? Michael Coin Flip Johnson against Darius Flowers. This is the most unpredictable fight on the card. I don't know what's going to happen with this because Darius Flowers, this is a wild man. He is reckless. He's very fun to watch. Watch his fight against Jake Matthews. But then you have Michael Coin Flip Johnson. Coming off a crushing knockout loss from CDF, I believe that was a year ago. Almost a year ago. Oh, man. You got knocked out by Carlos Diego Ferreira? What the hell, man? How'd you get knocked out by CDF? He does not have knockout power. And before that, he beat Mark DeCasey. He got beat by Jamie Markey. Like, what is this record? He lost to Clay Guida? What? Lost to Josh Emmett. Beat Artem Lobov. Like, look, also, by the way, look at the strength of schedule. Freaking good old touchy-feely. Derek Elkins. Justin Gaethje, the BMF champion. Get that BMF belt on him. Habib. He beats Dustin Poirier. He loses to Nate Diaz. And where is he? Where is he? He's here. He's here. I forgot he even fought Dariush Barboza. That was a good fight. Giller Melvin Gillard. Where is he? Where is he? Tabao. Where is he? He's here. He's here. There he is. Yeah, there he is. Beat Tony Ferguson before Tony Ferguson went on his legendary streak. What is this? What is this record? Okay, enough about Coin Flip Johnson. I have no idea how this fight goes. I'm just going to tentatively pick Coin Flip because he's due for his 50-50. That's it. Okay, here's a good fight. Brad Tavares versus RoboCop. Now then, in his last fight, we were saying, RoboCop, please grapple. If you grapple, you will destroy. You're an amazing grappler. He did. He won. Not this case. Not this case. This case, the thing is Brad Tavares has an insane takedown defense of 82%. I don't see RoboCop take him to the ground. He might, but I'm not going to really push for it. RoboCop needs to steal his chin because I'm worried about his chin. The Cheaty fight took a lot out of RoboCop, and he hasn't had the same chin since. He got KO'd by freaking what was his name? Bruno Ferreira. He got KO'd bad. But if he could survive against Tavares, and Tavares is not getting knockouts, but there's a first time for everything, he could definitely beat Tavares on the feet. Tavares, I had him as my lock of the night against Chris Weidman, and Weidman was chinning him. I was so worried. I was on the edge of my seat going, oh, please, dear God, don't knock him out. And he didn't. But I think RoboCop has the power to knock him out. I'm going to be leaning towards RoboCop by knockout. Robert Brzyk versus Iho Pateria. This is a car crash. This is a fun fight. This is a car crash. Yeah, Iho Pateria, not only is this a short notice fight for him, he's going down. It's his debut at middleweight, going down in weight. But then we have Robert Brzyk, who I believe is a little old. Yeah, 33 years of age, and he's debuting in the UFC. I don't like those. I don't like that. But again, they're both crazy fighters. But the short notice for Iho Pateria, I'm just gonna go with Robert by knockout. He's got 11 knockouts. He's in 11, right? Yeah, he has 11 knockouts. He's on a 5-fight knockout streak. He's pretty good. He's pretty good for the regional scene. We'll see. Next fight is going to be Dan 50K Ige versus Touchy-Feely. Andre Touchy-Feely. Dan Ige, he is a guy who's got great knockout power, but it's dwindled over the years. I still think he's a pretty solid fighter, but I just don't think he has that knockout power. And Andre Feely, despite his lanky kind of composition, he is tanky. He is pretty tanky. He's got really good kicks, and he's got the reach advantage. Overall, I'm going to be going with Dan Ige, but I'm going to be leaning towards Dan Ige to get a decision. I think he's going to beat up Andre Feely over 15 minutes. And oh boy, we're getting to the main event. Jack Hermansson is going to be taking on Be Like Joe Pyfer. Joe Body Bags Pyfer. I am super high on Joe Pyfer, not super high on Jack Hermansson. But regardless of if I like him or not, I need to acknowledge Jack Hermansson is ace. He's good. He's a very good fighter, and this is a tough test for Joe Pyfer. So, Jack Hermansson is going to be 35 years of age, 23 wins, 8 losses, 11 knockouts, 6 submissions, 6'1" in terms of height, orthodox stance, 77-inch reach advantage, a 1.66 takedown average, a 50.80% significant strike accuracy. He is a plus 180 underdog. He has significant wins over Chris Curtis, Edmund Shabazian, Kevin Gastelum, and GM3. Joe Pyfer is going to be 27 years of age, 12 wins, 2 losses, 8 knockouts, 3 submissions, 6'2" in terms of height, orthodox stance, 75-inch reach disadvantage, a 2.97 takedown average, a 45.67% significant strike accuracy, minus 220 favorite. Be like Joe Pyfer. Be like Joe Pyfer. Be like Joe Pyfer. So Joe Pyfer, he has great power. He is very competent on the ground when it comes to submission. His submission game is not bad. The thing about Joe Pyfer is he has not faced high-level competition yet. GM3 was pretty decent, but then I think he took a step down with El Hassan, to be honest with you. Yes, that's a massive step down in my honest opinion. GM3 was better competition for him, but the thing is, he was able to knock out GM3 bad. He caught him bad, just knocked him out. It was one touch, and I had the pleasure of seeing that live at 287. That was amazing. Beyond that, he bullied Al Hassan and just made him look like he didn't belong. But Jack Hermansson, like I said, is a difficult opponent to crack. He's like a much less active Wonder Boy, and I'm not enthralled with his fighting style, but it's effective. He picks you apart from distance, and he relies on his very good movement. He was able to really frustrate Chris Curtis, and that's how he was able to dance around him and piece him apart for the entirety of that fight. Kelvin Gastelum as well too. He was actually able to, I believe he submitted Kelvin Gastelum, if I remember correctly. Yeah, he was able to submit Kelvin Gastelum really fast, a minute and 20 seconds into the fight. Jack Hermansson's good. The only things that really lean me towards Joe Pyfer, because what I normally would see is probably Jack Hermansson, and this is a high possibility still, Jack Hermansson dancing around the octagon, picking him apart from distance, really relying on his 5-round conditioning, which he has gone 5 rounds before against like Sean Strickland. He's a decision king, to be honest with you. But the thing is, Joe Pyfer's slow too. But the main thing I'm going against Jack Hermansson for is his age. He's not really been like getting finishes. Like, yeah, he's been dancing around, but he hasn't been looking really good, to be honest with you. And he's coming off a knockout from Roman Dolidze. So he's been gone for all of 2023, and we're rewarding him with a main event. Yeah, that's the apex for you. Yeah. He's been out all of 2023, and he's coming off a knockout loss, and he's 35 years of age. Joe Pyfer is young. He's got a lot of hunger. He's got a lot going behind him. I don't think this is going to be Joe Pyfer's humbling. I hope he doesn't have one, to be honest with you, because I really like watching him fight. I think he takes Hermansson. I think he's going to struggle in the first rounds finding his spot. I think round 3, he's going to find it, and he's going to find his KO shot or his takedown, and he's going to either knock out or submit Jack Hermansson. I think finish is going to be your most likely thing for Joe Pyfer. I think Hermansson's decent with the subs. Dolidze did get him in that weird modified calf slicer, but he didn't finish it. He finished him by knocking him out. So give me Joe Pyfer by finish. I'm going to lean towards the knockout, and I hope it's a good fight. And once again, it's been your boy Gomi, looking at UFC Fight Night Vegas 86. Please be a good fight. Please be a good fight night. Please be a good fight night, because, oh God, last weekend sucked. And even if it's not a good fight night, I have a packed weekend. I will be watching the Super Bowl, and please let the 49ers win. Don't get me wrong, the Chiefs are almost a lock, but please let the 49ers win. So, once again, thank you so much for watching. This has been your boy Gomi. Bye-bye.